No one saw it coming, not the cast, not the fans, and certainly not the producers. But after years of fights, betrayals, and chaos that pushed her to the edge, Bambi has finally slammed the door on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Cameras were still rolling when she uttered the words that sent shockwaves through the reality TV world. "I'm done. I'm done with the drama." What was supposed to be another explosive season has now turned into a full-blown crisis as one of the show's most iconic stars walks away, leaving behind broken friendships, bitter rivalries, and unanswered questions that no one seems ready to face. Whispers behind the scenes hint that Bambi's decision wasn't just about on-camera arguments, it was about betrayal deeper than anyone realized, secrets that were never meant to surface, and a toxic environment that may have pushed her past her breaking point. Buckle up, because this isn't just another reality TV exit. It's a bombshell that could unravel the entire future of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And when you hear the real reason Bambi walked away, you'll never look at the show or the people on it the same way again. It started like any other filming day. Cameras ready, cast members mic'd up, and producers buzzing behind the scenes, chasing the next viral moment. But no one on set knew that what was about to unfold would go down as one of the most shocking moments in Love and Hip Hop Atlanta history. The drama that had been simmering for months was about to explode, and at the center of it all was Bambi, a woman who had reached the edge of her breaking point for years. Bambi had been one of the franchise's most polarizing figures, fierce, outspoken, and unapologetically real. She had survived every storm the show could throw at her: cheating scandals, public betrayals, bitter rivalries, and emotional breakdowns. Fans watched her rise from supporting character to mainstay, admired her hustle, and felt her pain through every tear and every fight. But beneath the confident exterior, Bambi was quietly suffocating under the weight of the very world she helped build. The tension had been building long before the cameras captured it. Behind the scenes, things had gotten ugly. What were once playful arguments between castmates had spiraled into full-on wars, alliances shattered, friendships dissolved, and enemies formed in every corner of the set. And Bambi, who once thrived in the chaos, found herself becoming the prime target in a storyline that felt less like reality TV and more like a personal attack. She was tired. One production insider later revealed. Every season, it was someone dragging her name, someone trying to expose her, someone trying to tear her down. It stopped being entertainment and started feeling like emotional warfare. The turning point came during a group event meant to celebrate Spice's latest music milestone. The night was supposed to be lighthearted champagne, laughter, a few harmless confessions. But it didn't take long for the energy to turn toxic. Within minutes of Bambi's arrival, tension filled the room. Eyes followed her every move. Whispers buzzed behind her back. And old wounds were ripped open with passive-aggressive jabs disguised as jokes. Then, out of nowhere, Bambi found herself face-to-face with Erica Dixon, a rivalry that had been boiling beneath the surface for years. Words were exchanged, insults were thrown, and before anyone could intervene, the situation spiraled into chaos. Erica accused Bambi of playing victim, while Bambi shot back that Erica had been obsessed with tearing her down. The argument grew louder, uglier, and more personal. And then came the words that changed everything. "You can have this show." Bambi snapped, her voice trembling with rage and exhaustion. "I'm done with the drama. I'm done with the lies. I'm done being everybody's punching bag." The room froze. Even the cameras seemed to hesitate. No one knew if she was serious, not until she pulled off her mic pack, tossed it on the nearest table, and walked out without another word. Producers scrambled after her. Cast members called her name. But Bambi didn't look back. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just left, and in that moment, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta felt like it had lost one of its pillars. News of her exit spread like wildfire. Within hours, social media was ablaze with speculation. Fans demanded answers. Blogs churned out headlines. Some accused Bambi of being too dramatic. Others applauded her for walking away from what they called a toxic circus. Hashtags like #BambiExit and #done with the drama trended for days as people dissected every clip, every fight, and every possible reason why she'd finally had enough. But the truth was deeper than anyone knew. Sources close to Bambi revealed that this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. It was the culmination of years of emotional exhaustion, betrayal from people she once trusted, and a growing resentment toward a show that had turned her real life into entertainment. She's been holding it together for a long time. One insider shared, but at some point the storyline stopped being a storyline. It became her real life, and that's when she knew she had to walk away. There were whispers of more than just on-screen drama. Rumors surfaced of behind-the-scenes manipulation, storylines fabricated to pit her against other cast members, and personal information leaked without her consent. Bambi reportedly felt betrayed not just by her castmates, but by the very machine that had built her career. And with her personal life unraveling off-camera, co-parenting struggles, public criticism, and mounting pressure to keep performing for the cameras, the decision to leave wasn't just about walking away from a show. It was about saving herself. She chose peace over paychecks, one friend explained. And that's a hard choice in this industry. Meanwhile, VH1 executives scrambled to contain the fallout. Losing a major star like Bambi wasn't just a blow to the show. It was a potential ratings disaster. Meetings were held, offers were made, and attempts to convince her to return were quietly launched behind the scenes. But those closest to her said the answer was always the same: no. The woman who once walked into scenes ready to fight, ready to clap back, ready to defend herself no matter the cost, was gone. In her place was someone who wanted peace, privacy, and a future beyond the reality TV chaos that had defined her for so long. And yet, for all the strength it took to walk away, the decision came with its own heartbreak. In an emotional post shared to her Instagram stories just days later, Bambi wrote, "Sometimes you've got to choose yourself, even if it breaks your heart." It was a message that resonated far beyond the love and hip-hop fandom. Fans flooded her comments with messages of support, sharing stories of their own experiences walking away from toxic relationships, jobs, and environments. "You did the right thing," one fan wrote. "Your peace is worth more than their drama." But if Bambi thought leaving the show would end the chaos, she was wrong. Because her exit was only the beginning of a storm that would rock love and hip-hop Atlanta to its core, exposing secrets, destroying alliances, and forcing everyone left behind to choose sides. And as whispers of betrayal, revenge, and unfinished business began to swirl, one thing became clear: Bambi might have walked away from the drama, but the drama wasn't done with her. Bambi's sudden exit wasn't just a dramatic moment for television. It was a seismic event that sent Love and Hip Hop Atlanta into complete chaos. In the days and weeks that followed, the show's set felt more like a war zone than a filming location. Friendships fractured overnight. Cast members scrambled to distance themselves from the fallout. And everyone from producers to fans wanted to know one thing: what really drove Bambi to walk away? The truth, as insiders would soon reveal, was far more explosive than anyone could have imagined. Bambi's departure wasn't about one argument or one bad season. It was the result of years of betrayal, manipulation, and behind-the-scenes schemes that had been brewing for far too long. And now, with her silence turning into a statement of its own, those secrets were starting to bubble to the surface. Bambi was done being the scapegoat, one crew member confided. Every season, someone had to be the villain, and 9 times out of 10, it was her. It stopped being a show and started being character assassination. The first sign that things had truly shifted came when Bambi unfollowed nearly the entire cast on social media. Just days after storming off set, longtime fans knew that in the reality TV world, unfollowing someone wasn't just digital drama. It was a declaration of war. Speculation went wild. Was there a secret betrayal? Had someone crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed? The answer, according to people close to Bambi, was yes. The real breaking point came when she discovered that several of her castmates, people she once called friends, had been feeding personal information to producers behind her back. Storylines she believed were private were suddenly being discussed on camera. Conversations she'd had in confidence were being twisted into plot points. And worst of all, people she trusted were cashing in on her pain for screen time. She felt like she was living in a snake pit, one source revealed. Every time she opened up, someone weaponized it. Every vulnerability she shared turned into a storyline she didn't sign up for. The betrayal ran deeper than just gossip. Bambi reportedly discovered that one cast member, someone she had once defended publicly, had been secretly messaging her ex behind the scenes, digging for dirt to use against her. It was a move that not only blindsided her but confirmed her worst fear, that no one in that circle could be trusted. And if the betrayal wasn't enough, the pressure from producers only made things worse. Bambi was allegedly pushed to discuss personal topics she had made clear were off limits, including painful family issues and legal matters she wasn't ready to share publicly. When she refused, storylines were rewritten to paint her as difficult and uncooperative, fueling drama she wanted no part of. She was done being a puppet, another insider explained. They wanted to control her narrative, and she wasn't having it anymore. As the truth began to leak, the cast quickly split into factions. On one side were those who sympathized with Bambi Spice. Carly and even Yandy reportedly reached out privately, expressing support and understanding. "She's strong, but everyone has a breaking point," Spice told a producer off camera. And they pushed her too far. On the other side were those who dismissed her departure as a publicity stunt. Erica and Mama D, in particular, were quick to downplay Bambi's exit, calling it dramatic and overdue. In one confessional, Mama D smirked, "If you can't handle the heat, stay out of the kitchen. This show isn't for the weak." Those words didn't sit well with fans, or with Bambi herself. Though she remained mostly silent publicly, a single cryptic Instagram story spoke volumes. Against a black background, she wrote, "It's not the heat that breaks you. It's the snakes hiding in the shade." The drama wasn't limited to the cast. The show's fan base exploded into chaos as well. Social media became a battleground, with hashtags like #JusticeForBambi and #TeamBambi trending across platforms. Fans dissected every episode, every scene, searching for signs of the betrayal that had driven her away. "You can tell she's been unhappy for a long time," one fan tweeted. "They set her up season after season. I'd leave too." Meanwhile, the producers were scrambling to control the narrative. With one of their most popular cast members gone, the show's dynamic had shifted, and not for the better. Ratings dipped slightly after Bambi's exit, and online engagement plummeted. Viewers complained that the show had lost its spark without her fiery presence. "Say what you want about Bambi, but she was the show," one popular blogger wrote. "Without her, it's just arguments with no heart." Desperate to salvage the situation, the network reportedly reached out to Bambi with an offer to return, one that included creative control over her storyline and a significant pay increase. But the damage was already done. Bambi declined. "Peace is worth more than a paycheck," she reportedly told a close friend. But if producers thought Bambi's story was over, they were wrong. Her exit had triggered a chain reaction they couldn't stop. With her gone, old rivalries reignited, alliances crumbled, and secrets that had been buried for years began to surface. And the deeper fans and insiders dug, the more they realized that Bambi's departure wasn't just about betrayal, it was about exposing the toxic underbelly of a franchise built on conflict and pain. She was the first to walk away, one veteran cast member admitted. "But trust me, she won't be the last." As whispers of more exits swirled and behind-the-scenes drama grew more intense, one thing became clear: Bambi's decision had shaken the foundation of love and hip-hop Atlanta in a way no storyline ever could. And while the cameras had stopped rolling on her journey, the ripple effects of her choice were only just beginning to unfold. The real question now wasn't why Bambi left, It was what her departure would reveal about the people she left behind. And as rumors of betrayals, secret deals, and shocking confessions continued to build, fans were left wondering if the franchise itself might never recover from the storm she left in her wake. If you thought Bambi's exit was just another reality TV meltdown, think again, because behind the cameras, things were far uglier than anyone ever realized. What fans saw on screen was only a fraction of the truth. The real breaking point, the final straw that pushed Bambi out the door, was a toxic cocktail of betrayal, humiliation, and manipulation that cut deeper than any scripted drama could ever reach. It all started with a secret alliance. While Bambi was trying to navigate friendships, motherhood, and her complicated relationship with Scrappy, several cast members were allegedly plotting a storyline behind her back. According to insiders, the plan was to expose Bambi for things that weren't even true, painting her as jealous, manipulative, and desperate for relevance. The kicker: some of the people she trusted most were in on it. Bambi found out they were scripting scenes about her without her knowledge. A producer who asked to remain anonymous revealed they were coordinating off-camera, setting her up for confrontations that looked spontaneous but were actually orchestrated to embarrass her. It was pure sabotage. The betrayal reached a boiling point during a now infamous group event, one that viewers would later call the most uncomfortable scene in love and hip-hop Atlanta history. Cameras rolled as Bambi walked in, completely unaware that the entire evening had been engineered to humiliate her. Accusations flew from every corner of the room. Old wounds were reopened. And in a moment that left fans' jaws on the floor, deeply personal details about her marriage, details she had shared off camera, were thrown in her face for the world to hear. The pain on Bambi's face was unmistakable. This wasn't the fiery, confident woman fans had grown to love. This was someone betrayed, cornered, and stripped of her dignity. As she sat in stunned silence, the room buzzed with whispers and sideways glances. To everyone else, it was good TV. But to Bambi, it was the final nail in the coffin. It wasn't drama anymore. It was cruelty, a close friend later said. They stopped seeing her as a person. She was just a storyline. But the betrayals didn't end there. Just days after that humiliating scene aired, Bambi's phone exploded with messages, not from friends checking in, but from gossip blogs who had somehow obtained screenshots of her private texts. The leak included deeply personal conversations, including one about her struggles with postpartum depression, something she had never spoken about publicly. The source of the leak: a friend from the cast when Bambi confronted them off camera. The situation escalated into a screaming match that producers reportedly had to break up. According to multiple crew members, Bambi shouted through tears, "You were supposed to have my back, not sell me out." The betrayal shook her to her core. It wasn't just about TV anymore. It was about trust, humanity, and respect. And in Bambi's eyes, all three were gone. Meanwhile, Scrappy's silence only made things worse. The tension in their marriage, which had already been strained by public scrutiny, now felt unbearable. Sources close to the couple revealed that Bambi felt isolated and unsupported, even in private. She wanted Scrappy to stand up for her, to defend her, one insider said. But instead, he stayed out of it. And that made her feel more alone than ever. The lack of support became painfully obvious during a reunion taping, where Bambi broke down mid-interview and walked off stage. Cameras captured her trembling hands and tear-streaked face as she whispered to a producer, "I can't do this anymore. I'm done." By the time filming wrapped that night, Bambi's decision was sealed. What had once been a dream, a platform to share her life, her story, and her strength, had become a nightmare she couldn't escape. But the aftermath of her decision was just as explosive as the events that led up to it. Word of her exit spread like wildfire through the entertainment industry. Blogs, fan pages, and gossip sites lit up with speculation. Was she fired? Was she planning a tell-all? Was this the start of a legal battle against the network? The rumors only intensified when Bambi's attorney was spotted entering the network's headquarters just days later, while no official statement was released. Insiders claimed that Bambi was considering legal action over the unauthorized leak of her private messages. There's a line, and they crossed it. One source close to her legal team said, and now they're going to have to answer for it. Fans rallied behind her in droves. Hashtags like #WeStandWithBambi and #ProtectBambi trended across social media. Thousands of supporters flooded her comment sections with messages of love and encouragement. "You deserve peace. You deserve better," one fan wrote. Another posted, "They tried to break you, but you're stronger than all of them." But as one chapter ended, another was already beginning. Insiders claimed that several cast members were panicking behind the scenes, fearing that Bambi's potential to law could expose all of their secrets. And with whispers of a major streaming platform reaching out to her for an exclusive docuseries deal, one thing was certain: Bambi was far from finished. She might have walked away from Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta, but her story was only getting started. And the truth she carried with her, the betrayal, the lies, the manipulations, had the power to bring the entire empire crashing down. Because in the end, Bambi didn't just leave a reality show. She blew the whistle on a toxic machine that had gone unchecked for far too long. And as the dust settled, the question wasn't whether the show would recover. It was whether it could survive the storm that was coming next. When Bambi slammed that final door and walked away from Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta, no one realized just how deep the aftershocks would go. It wasn't just the end of a storyline, it was the beginning of a meltdown. The foundation of the franchise started to shake. Secrets began to unravel. And alliances that once seemed unbreakable shattered overnight. The queen had left the palace. And now the kingdom was on fire. At first, producers tried to downplay her exit. Bambi's moving on to new opportunities, they said in carefully worded press statements. But fans weren't buying it. They could feel the tension. They had seen the tears, the humiliation, the betrayal. And when Bambi broke her silence with a series of cryptic social media posts, truth always wins. Not scared anymore, and the lies are about to come out. The internet and war is exactly what they got. Within weeks, Bambi had assembled a legal dream team. Not just lawyers, but publicists, investigators, and even former producers who had quietly left the show and were ready to testify on her behalf. It was no longer a reality show scandal. It was now a legal and cultural battle that threatened to pull the curtain back on the entire reality TV industry. The revelations that followed were explosive. A leaked internal memo revealed that producers had been instructed to manufacture conflict and escalate drama between cast members, even if it meant crossing ethical lines. Another whistleblower alleged that some storylines were based on private information illegally obtained from cast members' phones. And perhaps most shocking of all, one document suggested that Bambi's postpartum mental health struggles were strategically amplified for ratings. The fallout was immediate. Activists called for boycotts. Congressional representatives hinted at potential investigations into labor and privacy violations within reality television. And across the entertainment industry, networks began scrambling to review their own production practices. What started as a reality TV drama had turned into a cultural reckoning. But while the system was under fire, Bambi's star was rising higher than ever. Major media outlets lined up to interview her. Streaming platforms offered her multi-million-dollar deals for a tell-all documentary series. And fans, millions of them, were rallying behind her like she was more than just a TV star. She had become a symbol, a voice for every woman who'd been gaslit, every cast member who'd been exploited, and every human being who'd ever been told to just deal with it. In the name of entertainment, and Bambi wasn't done telling her story. In a groundbreaking interview, she revealed that she had kept years of evidence from secret recordings of producer conversations to messages that proved storylines were fabricated long before filming began. "They think I'm just another reality star," she said. "But I kept receipts. And if they don't stop lying, the world is going to see every single one." Behind the scenes, the network scrambled to contain the damage. Some executives pushed for a settlement, hoping to end the PR disaster quietly. Others argued that suing Bambi was the only way to protect the brand. But by now, it was too late. The court of public opinion had spoken, and the verdict was brutal. Viewers began abandoning the show in droves. Ratings plummeted. Advertisers pulled out. And several longtime cast members began negotiating early exits from their contracts, fearing they might be next in Bambi's crosshairs. Then came the twist no one saw coming. Bambi announced that she was partnering with a major streaming platform to produce a new reality series, one she would own and control from start to finish. The concept: a raw, unfiltered look at real women in the entertainment industry without scripts, without manipulation, and without exploitation. "This isn't about revenge," she said. "It's about rewriting the narrative. It's about taking back our stories." The announcement sent shockwaves through the industry. Some called it bold. Others called it dangerous. But one thing was clear. Bambi wasn't just leaving Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta. She was building something bigger, stronger, and more authentic in its place. Meanwhile, the original show limped along, desperately trying to recover from the PR disaster. New cast members were brought in. Old storylines were recycled. But the magic was gone. The audience's trust, once the lifeblood of the franchise, had been shattered. And in its place stood a harsh new reality. Bambi hadn't just walked away from the show. She had outgrown it. Months later, during a red carpet interview, Bambi was asked if she regretted anything. Her answer was simple but powerful. No, because if I hadn't walked away, I would have lost myself. And no amount of fame, money, or attention is worth that. It was the perfect full circle moment. What started as heartbreak and betrayal had transformed into empowerment and evolution. And for millions watching around the world, Bambi's journey became more than just a reality TV storyline. It became a blueprint for taking back power in an industry, built on taking it away. And as the credits roll on this chapter of her life, one thing is certain: Bambi's story is far from over. She's no longer a character in someone else's script. She's the writer, the director, and the star of her own story. And this time, no one, not a network, not a producer, not a single manipulative storyline can silence her. And there you have it. The end of an era and the start of a revolution. Bambi didn't just walk away from Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta. She burned the rulebook on her way out. From explosive secrets to a war with the network. This isn't just reality TV anymore. This is real life, raw and unfiltered. But the question that's got everyone talking is this: did Bambi just expose the dark side of the industry? Or is this only the beginning of something even bigger? Now it's your turn. Sound off in the comments below. Do you think Bambi was right to walk away? Or should she have stayed and fought from the inside? And most importantly, do you believe her story? Or is there more to the truth we still don't know? Smash that LIKE button if you're standing with Bambi. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next chapter in this messy, money-fueled saga is just getting started. And don't forget to share this video. Let the world see how one woman flipped the entire Love and Hip Hop universe upside down. Because if there's one thing we know about this show, the drama might fade, but the truth always finds its way out. Stay tuned. The next bombshell could drop any second.